Colts getting 2 points on the road, divisional matchup, AFC South on the line, possibly, against the Titans. Which way are you rolling here?
So I hate picking Thursday night games. I feel like they're always end up being garbage. I do feel like Tennessee's coming back down to earth a little bit after the hot start, and I do think that Indy's run defense is really good. So I don't love the pick, but I'm gonna take the points in the Colts tonight.
I'm with you, and I'm at this point I'm just taking the points. I did a segment earlier on who needs this game more, and I couldn't even give a winner because honestly, yesterday I was thinking about it all day. All right, back and forth. I kind of feel like I don't trust Phil Rivers at all, but at the same time, it's like to your point, the Titans haven't really been playing convincing football. Defense, they kind of stink on defense. Let's just call it for what it is.
Yeah, they're awful on defense.
So I think this is a chance for the Colts to have some success. And I still don't trust Ryan Tannehill. Like you said, the Colts' run defense is great. Do you trust Ryan Tannehill if Derrick Henry can't get going? If it's like a 50-yard on 23 carries sort of night for him. Do you trust Ryan Tannehill to win the game? I don't.
Well, that's what it seems like it's been, is that they haven't got the, last week. I don't think Henry. I think he had 60 yards rushing. They couldn't get the run game going, and it's a struggle.
It is. So I'm with you. To me, this is a very close game. Like you said, Thursday night games are always weird, especially in a divisional matchup. They know each other really well. I'll take the points. So I'm with you. Colts +2. I don't feel great about it because Phil Rivers can. I mean, we really haven't seen a Phil Rivers 3 interception, horrible. He played bad against the Browns, but I don't know. I just don't trust him to where he would actually play well and take care of the football. This could be a game where he's given the Titans some cookies there.
Yeah, he's primed for some Thursday night boneheaded thing.
Yeah,
crazy stuff happens, and there's no other better player than him tonight. So
for real. So we're both in agreement. Colts +2. It sounds like none of us really feel great about it, but we'll see how it goes. Another team getting 2 points on the road, the Buffalo Bills, going on the road to the desert to take on the Cardinals. What are you thinking here, Pooley?
All right, so my one note is shootout because both defenses are atrocious. I think Bills coming off arguably their biggest win of the season, and then flying to the West Coast. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Ooh.
I think I like Kyler against that defense. Come back a little bit after the disappointing loss to Miami last week, so rolling with the Cardinals.
I'm with it. I'm taking the Cardinals, laying the 2 at home. To your point, too, like you said, the Bills, big emotional win last week off the Seahawks, right? One thing that kind of gets me nervous is they scored 44 points. Obviously, the offense had a lot of success. That was also in part because Russell Wilson turned over 4 times, and Seattle's defense is if me and you played defense, we had better defense in IM football than we 4 years ago than right now the Seahawks defense is playing right now. They are just putrid. If me and you lined up at receiver, we would score.
Yeah, they don't get after the quarterback at all, and you just can't win like that.
Right. So kind of everything I felt broke the Bills' way last week at home. This week, like you said, you go across the country, go to the desert. The Cardinals team played tough against the Dolphins. Kyler's team pissed off last week after that loss. I'm taking the Cardinals at home. I think things go their way. The Bills, I just don't trust Josh Allen. Everything went their way last week. The stats look good. He played well. But again, 4 turnovers by Russ. Defense for Seattle is just putrid. And so I'm with you. I'm taking the Cardinals, laying the 2 at home. I think this is a good bounce-back spot for Kyler and this Cardinals team. Look at that. Great minds think alike. We're both on the Colts. We're both on the Cardinals. 2 for 2 so far.
Maybe it's a good sign. You're hitting on a big clip this year, so maybe I got to ride your train a little bit.
Well, I will admit, the numbers are severely. I've actually done really well in the upset special, not to brag. That's probably given me, I would be under probably 500, I can't lie, if it wasn't for the upset special with the bonus points given. So that's kind of why the record's a little inflated, I will admit. So maybe it's not the best. Maybe there's your I guess your disclaimer alert. Inflated because of the upset special. In terms of just picking 5 games straight up, it hasn't been the best year for yours truly so far. How about an NFC West battle here, Pooley? Seahawks going on the road. Speaking of a terrible defense and them coming off a brutal game against the Bills, they go on the road. LA take on the Rams. Seahawks are getting 2 points on the road. What are you thinking?
This was the hardest game out of the 5 you gave me. Obviously, Seattle coming off a tough game, flying to the East Coast, and now on the road 2 weeks in a row. LA's coming off the bye. I feel like Pete Carroll always pulls something out in these games that you don't like. They're they're probably at a low point in their season right now. It's just not going to. But I'm going to roll Rams coming off the bye. I think McVay will pick apart that defense. He's had over a week to prepare, so I'm going to roll with the Rams at home.
Interesting. We couldn't be more opposite in the picks and the mantra. This is, out of the 5 games, I thought this is the easiest one, to be honest. Seahawks getting 2 points on the road. Again, I know we just basically crapped all over their defense, just laid them out there. Russ had an awful game last week. I think, to your point, this is a good bounce-back game. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to turn the ball over 4 times. Maybe I'm wrong. And not to mention, I don't know if Jared Goff is the type of quarterback that could take advantage of the Seahawks defense enough to where they are in position to lose. I think it could be a high-scoring game. I just trust the Seahawks. If it's going to be a shootout, I trust the Seahawks more, to be honest. So I'll roll with the quarterback. I'll take the points. If you're going to give me 2 points with the Seahawks, I'll take it. Again, I know their defense stinks. They're kind of a brutal loss. I just like the Seahawks in this spot. I could be wrong because the last few games I felt very confident and it's kind of backfired. No surprise. But I'll take the Seahawks here, +2 on the road over the Rams.
It's funny because this will be a revolving theme later on, but in my notes I have written down Jared Goff stinks and still take that way. So.
That's the
we'll see.
That's yeah. I mean, I guess Philip Rivers stinks, but I took the Colts. But at your point, I don't really trust Josh Allen. Took the Cardinals. I'm with you. Jared Goff kind of stinks, but I'll take the Seahawks in this one. So.
Oh, Josh Allen's at the number 1 of my stinks list. I can't stand people.
I'm glad we're in agreement there. He gets a lot of love, and I mean, you can't trust him. He plays good some games, but we really rolling with Josh Allen, feeling good that he'll play.
Yeah,
a good
I
game
mean,
in a big spot here.
Do you trust him to consistently throw the ball in big games come playoff time? I don't know.
I don't.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm with you. He's got one of those guys that has to do it first, and then I'll believe it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so 2-1 so far in terms of agreement. We're both on the Colts. We're both on the Cardinals. You're taking the Rams. I'm taking the Seahawks for the 3 NFL games. These next 2 college games is almost flip a coin here. We'll go
yeah,
I know. This is brutal. Number 2, Notre Dame. Giving 13.5 points on the road at Boston College. Here's an interesting wrinkle. This is the red bandana game for Boston College in honor of Wells Crowther. Gets me nervous. I can't lie, Pooley. What are you thinking here in this one?
Yeah, so notes, red bandana. It's the Jerkovich revenge game. Brian Kelly didn't believe it in Jerkovich revenge game. And Notre Dame in quite literally the biggest letdown spot of all time. So we're rolling BC. Easy.
I am in agreement with you. Like you said, Jerkovich, the former Notre Dame quarterback, now at BC, getting his chance of revenge. Red bandana games, BC has beaten in these games USC in previous years, Florida State, when I think Florida State was top 5, if I'm not mistaken, on like a Thursday night a few years ago. They beat Miami.
That was like one of those weeknight games and like night games that seems like, I think Miami, like you said, Miami got caught there too, I think, recently.
Right, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Florida State was like, weren't they ranked pretty high? That was like, I think it was a pretty big upset.
Could have been. Was that like the Francois teams or even earlier?
I think it was him. I probably should have done the research before, and I apologize. But the point is, I'm with you on this. The red bandana game brings out the best in BC. They're getting 13.5 points at home. They've played competitive this year. Like, Jeff Hafley has turned this team into a solid team. 13.5 points is a lot for Notre Dame, like you said. The biggest game, or the biggest win in our lifetime for sure. I think this has, I'm with you, letdown written all over it. It's a weird year. A lot of, even though there's going to be no fans in the stands, I still think the red bandana game means something. I think Notre Dame will still win. It's going to be a sweated out game, so I'll take the 13.5 points at BC. Are you calling an outright upset?
No,
okay.
I think Notre Dame wins, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's similar to that Clemson game where BC gets off to a hot start, and then it's just hard for Notre Dame to dig themselves out of a 14-point hole of cover, but they'll probably win by a narrow margin.
We are in total agreement with that one. We'll take the Eagles getting 13.5 at home. And finally, a total wild card. Wisconsin back in action. They're 13th in the nation. They haven't played since week 1, which feels like forever ago. Graham Mertz took the Big Ten by storm. Wisconsin is 4.5-point favorites, despite not playing in 3 weeks, on the road at Michigan. I know Michigan's had their struggles. Pooley, what are you thinking here, man? What do the notes say? What do these insider notes say for this game?
So this is tough because the line is so weird, and I don't know if the odds makers are building in Graham Mertz or not. So, I don't know if you're getting value with this 4.5, if Mertz is ruled in, whether the line goes up or this was tough. And then also, we have such a small sample size from Wisconsin. They looked awesome, but they also played Illinois, which might be one of the worst teams in the country. So
them and Penn State fighting for that. Fighting for that title.
Yeah, the battle of whose defense is more atrocious. I'm gonna roll Wisco just because I'm a Harbaugh hater, and I don't know, they've been so lackluster and just no juice at all. I feel like it's like the same thing with Penn State where they're packing it up. We'll move on to next year.
This is so tough. I know it's tough because first of all, I don't even understand how Graham Mertz is in the running to play. I thought it was like 3 weeks. So I mean he's possibly could play. I don't really understand how I thought. Unless I'm missing the math here. I could be. I'm not a math guy at all. So maybe I'm missing the 21 days where it started earlier than I thought. If it's not him, Danny Vandenboom sounds like a guy that can't really be trustworthy in a situation like this. Even if Graham Mertz plays or not, I think 3 weeks off after kind of having a stop, start, they're not even practicing. Most of these guys are in isolation. I just think this is a spot where Michigan, 1-2, the haters are coming out. They lost a game they shouldn't have lost to Michigan State. Usually Harbaugh doesn't lose those kind of games. I think this could be a spot where Michigan, just because they played more football, and you're at home, which I understand there's no crowd, doesn't have too much of a difference, but I think this is a spot where, honestly, Michigan, under the lights, can get a win. I think this is kind of a game where Harbaugh staves off some of those vultures that are trying to get him fired. I think this could be a big Harbaugh revenge game, if you will, try to rally the troops here. I think Michigan gets it done, especially 4.5 points. I'll take the points at home for the Wolverines.
It might be a must-win, honestly. He can't lose this one.
Right?
Too.
If you're 1-3, you're losing to Ohio State 1-4, things could go down the toilet quick here. It's
looking bleak, yeah. And like I said, in this COVID season, it's hard to keep people motivated. It could go off the tracks quickly if it hasn't already.
Right. That's a good point too. That I could play in Wisconsin's favor. This might be the biggest crapshoot out of them all, but I'll take Michigan. Oh, sorry, Poole.
Yeah. No, huge crapshoot. You could give me any reason, I'll believe you either way. But I'm gonna go Wisco.
All right, you're going Wisco. I'll go Wisconsin. I'll go Michigan. Nick writes in, by the way, he's with the Rams. He's with you on the Rams, which is not a good sign because Nick knows what he's talking about. So
good, I like that.
You both are on the Rams. I'll still take the Seahawks. Upset special, Pooley. What are we thinking here?
Oof. So I was between two last night. I'm going to go with the higher dog just for intrigue. I'm going to go with Mr. Felipe Franks himself in the Arkansas Razorbacks. Another revenge game, Felipe Franks. But in all honesty, the Kyle Pitts injury is kind of big too, and who knows if Florida coming off again, one of their biggest wins, if not the biggest win of the season, whether they're going to be up for this game this week. I still think they win, but I don't know necessarily enough they cover the 18.
Oh, so the number is 18?
18, yes.
All right.
That's what I saw.
And I apologize. Is it Arkansas at home or on the road? Again, not that it matters too much.
That would be a good question. I believe it's Arkansas at home, but I could be wrong.
Let me see if I can pull it up really quick here. I actually like that.
It's at Florida, actually.
Okay. Well, I don't think they'll be packing the swamp to Dan Mullen's approval, but I like that one. Honestly, that's the one I saw, and I know we were texting before the show. You put your notes about Felipe Franks. So I was all right. Pooley might go that one, so I stayed away. There wasn't many in college football that I felt good in. I'm going to go with the NFL here. I really don't do much NFL upset specials, but we're going to roll with it. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. +7 on the road, taking on the Steelers. Big Ben in COVID protocol. They're coming off a weird win. Now, this could be a spot where they just are pissed off because they played so bad against the Cowboys and try to get things fixed. I just don't know how teams, when they're in isolation all week, I know the Tennessee Titans were basically in isolation for 2 weeks and just kicked the crap out of the Bills. I'm just going to take the Bengals here, a touchdown. I like the way Joe Burrow's playing. They can't protect him. This is going against a great Steelers defense. I'm actually talking myself out of this pick right now. I don't love it at all, but I wrote it down. We're going to go with it. Bengals +7 on the road at the Steelers. Not feeling good. Not feeling good at all, but we'll roll with it. We'll see how it goes for this week.
With the options we had this week, it was fun picking. So
yeah, it absolutely was.